Scientists warned us to stop. 120 degrees. The desert should have killed everything, except this.
Scientists warned us again and again. At 120 degrees, no crop should survive.
The data was clear. Soil temperatures were lethal. Failure was guaranteed. But sometimes, progress begins when we refuse to listen.
We have to shut it down now. It's too dangerous.
Every expert agreed on one thing. Continuing made no sense.
In our hands were seeds that carried thousands of years of history. Against all advice, we planted anyway.
The land looked dead, hard as stone, impossible to farm.
No nutrients. No moisture retention. No biological life. We realized we couldn't fight the desert. We had to understand it.
Instead of forcing the soil to change, we changed our method.
The desert was still unforgiving, but now it was ready.
We touched the soil lightly, just enough to let life breathe.
Before the sun could rise, we had to begin.
These seeds carried thousands of years of survival knowledge.
As the sun climbed, the clock started ticking.
Just a few inches deeper, the temperature dropped dramatically. With every seed buried, we planted a question beneath the desert.
We planted deeper than recommended, chasing cooler ground.
At 120 degrees, even soil begins to burn.
There was nothing left to fix, nothing left to change.
The air itself felt alive and dangerous.
Above the surface, nothing should have survived.
When night finally came, we waited for answers beneath the sand.
Within days, the desert turned hostile.
After days of extreme heat, the desert finally went silent.
At first, we thought the ground was breaking again.
Then we saw it, a sign of life.
Not one, but many.
No one spoke. We were afraid to believe it.
Against every prediction, life had found a way.
When the scientists came back, they expected nothing to be alive.
No one spoke. The data made no sense.
The temperature hadn't dropped. The corn simply adapted.
They recalibrated everything twice.
Every theory failed, one by one.
The question was no longer, could it survive? But why could it?
The leaves turned away from the sun.
Within days, the growth rate began to change.
It grew when the heat disappeared.
Below the surface, the real work was happening. Side by side, the difference was undeniable. This wasn't survival anymore. This was intelligence. Same soil, same water, same heat. The difference appeared within hours.
One absorbed heat. The other avoided it.
Moisture loss was nearly half. There was no debate left. This wasn't improved corn. It was a different kind of resilience. Even reproduction survived the heat. When flowering began, no one expected it to last. Something was forming beneath the leaves.
The numbers didn't lie.
This wasn't survival anymore. This was production. In the heart of the desert, food was growing. What started here didn't stay here.
The planet is heating faster than our crops can adapt.
Across the world, farms are failing.
The lesson wasn't the crop, it was the approach. Nature doesn't fight change. It adapts. The future of food may depend on how fast we learn.
This isn't a prediction. It's happening right now.
Every number was recorded, every result verified.
No climate control. No tricks.
The desert didn't become friendly.
This wasn't hope. It was evidence.
What we saw wasn't the future. It was now. The heat didn't stop. Neither did the experiment. Every day, the data continued to come in.
Not dramatic, not obvious, but constant.
Now, all we could do was watch.
The story wasn't over yet.
Nothing around it changed.
After days of watching, patterns started to form. At midday, everything paused. When the sun disappeared, life returned.
It wasn't fighting the desert. It was matching it.
The pattern repeated every night.
And the cycle began again.
Then the numbers jumped. This wasn't just hotter, it was different. The ground itself began to fail.
Even the blue corn reacted. There was nothing we could do.
All we could do was wait. When the sun dropped, the pressure finally eased. Hour by hour, the numbers came down. The movement was small, but unmistakable. The ground began to breathe again.
We checked carefully, Vedant, without touching anything.
By morning, we would know more.
The field hadn't reacted as one.
The structural integrity is completely gone. We're looking at a total loss here.
Confirmed. I'm noting the extent of the scorched earth now.
The damage was real. Not everything survived.
We marked everything. Every loss.
The experiment hadn't ended, but it had changed.
Their roots had gone further.
The pattern wasn't random. The difference was small, but critical. Even inches mattered. Cooling wasn't uniform. Even heat wasn't equal. We stopped looking at the field as one. The desert tested every inch differently.
The ground itself wasn't the same everywhere.
Cooling moved unevenly. Some soil held on, just a little longer.
What looked uniform never was.
We followed what the field was telling us.
We followed what the field was telling us.
Just minutes earlier, just minutes shorter.
We refined how we listened.
Nothing was added to soften the desert.
Nothing dramatic happened, and that mattered. Not untouched, but alive.
As the sun fell, the desert grew quiet again.
Every mark told a part of the story.
The desert stayed the same.
We didn't take anything with us.
And that was enough.